Hi guys, Rick here. It's Stinger Wild coming at you with another top 10 list. This time I thought I would compile a list of my top 10 matches that I enjoyed from the WCW era. As I say, I mainly watched the product between 1997, 98, a little bit of the stuff after that, but not so much, mainly 97 and 98. So a lot of my matches will be coming from there. Anyway, let's kick the list off. Number 10, Scott Hall and Macho Man Randy Savage versus Lex Luger and Diamond Dallas Page. A great tag team match here, taking place at Full Brawl 1997. The double rings were set up for this match, and halfway through the match, Scott Hall would start kicking Lex Luger down in between the rings, burying him under there. Zbyszko, seeing this from his commentary position, left his commentary position, came down to the ring himself, and started to goad Scott Hall into a fight. Whereas upon Lex Luger came out from underneath between the rings, rolled up Scott Hall, got the win for WCW. It was a really classic match. Number 9, the Steiner Brothers versus the Outsiders. This match took place at Road Wild 1997. It was for the Tag Team Championships, which was held by Scott Hall and Kevin Nash going into the match. They took on the Steiners with Ted DiBiase. The match went to and fro, some great power moves in here. A really great match, one worth checking out. Of course, at the end, the Outsiders would cheat their way to hold on to the belts again, but there's some great action in this one. Number 8, the Outsiders versus Sting and the Giant. Okay guys, this match took place at Slamboree 1998. It was the main event. Hall and Nash went in as the tag team champs. Hall hadn't been seen for months, and it was awesome. The crowd arose to a mighty cheer when he came in with Kevin Nash and Dusty Rhodes. Unfortunately, the WCW fans have seen this match. You know what happened at the end. It was when Scott Hall turned on Kevin Nash and hit him with the belt at the end of the match, giving the win and the tag team belts to Sting and the Giant. But that was really one hell of a moment and one hell of a match. Number 7, Hollywood Hogan versus Lex Luger. Classic matchup here between Hollywood Hogan and Lex Luger. It took place on Monday Nitro, 4th of August 1997. Hogan had held the belt for God knows how long, never defended it, ever. And Luger came along and took the belt off him that night, only to lose it 6 days later at Road Wild, back to Hogan. But on this night, on Monday Nitro, Lex Luger would be victorious. It was a great match. Hogan really had him throughout the match, but Luger would come back at the end, defeat all the NWO guys that rushed to the ring to Hogan's aid, beat all them up, put Hogan in the rack. Hogan tapped out, ring filled up with WCW guys. It was awesome. As I say, Hogan had held that belt for many, many months. No one even looked like beating him, so it was a big shock when Luger did. Great matchup. Number 6, Scott Hall versus Kevin Nash. Oh, what can I say? Scott Hall versus Kevin Nash. Friend versus friend. Partner versus partner. This one had it all. It took place in 1998 at Halloween Havoc. Scott Hall had joined the NWO Black and White. Kevin Nash, at that point, was in the red and black of the Wolfpack. It was an awesome match. Started out with Scott Hall pummeling Kevin Nash for much of the match. And then at one point in the match, Kevin Nash just stops and says, "Hey, give me all you got, give it to me." Great story going on to this one too, between the two former friends. And Kevin Nash, basically, as I say, halfway through the match, just stood there and said, "Look, give me all you got, give me all you got." And then turned the tables on Scott Hall, who had been dominating the start of the matchup. Nash came back, powerbombed Scott Hall twice, but instead of going for the pin, just walked away and got himself counted out. A really emotional match, one of the greatest matches in WCW history, and was a great match on that card at Halloween Havoc 98, which was a great pay-per-view as well. Number 5, Bret Hitman Hart vs. Chris Benoit. This match was an absolute classic, an absolute wrestling lesson, and a must for any fan to see if they haven't seen so far. It took place at Monday Nitro, October 4th, 1999, in the Kemper Arena, Kansas City, in the very same arena that Bret's brother Owen had passed away in only months earlier. It was a tribute match for Owen Hart, and Chris Benoit and Bret Hart took it to the absolute limit. A real classic. Number 4, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Diamond Dallas Page. Well, I could really pick any one of the matches in the series that these two guys had. I'm going to take this particular match from the Great American Bash 1997. This match was outrageous, crazy. The heat going into it between these two guys was over the top. They had their women fighting with one another as well, Liz and Kimberly. This match had everything. Into the crowd, backstage, everywhere. This fight was over the top. You gotta check this one out, guys. A great feud and a great series of matches. Number 3, Diamond Dallas Page vs. Chris Benoit versus Raven. This match was an absolute barn burner. One of the best triple threat matches I have seen personally, especially in WCW, where they didn't have many triple threat matches. But this was unbelievable. It took place at Uncensored 1998. Now it truly was uncensored. They went everywhere, all over the arena, throwing garbage cans, canes, throwing them through the stage signs, everything. It was an awesome match for the United States Championship, held by Diamond Dallas Page, and he ended the match by diamond cutting Raven through a table off a top rope. You gotta check this one out, guys. Number 2, Goldberg vs. Diamond Dallas Page. Well, what can I say? Goldberg vs. Diamond Dallas Page, Halloween Havoc 1998. As I say, it was a loaded card that night. A lot of good matches on it. This match was an absolute classic. One of the best matches you will ever see in WCW history, in my opinion. It had everything. Goldberg was so hot at the time, the world heavyweight champion. DDP had never been the champion at that stage. Could have been his first time to get the crown. The match was back and forth. No one had really even come close to Goldberg at that stage. He was beating everyone in 2 minutes or less. But DDP really took it to him, and the match was anyone's. Great to and fro, great ending to the match, great main event for Halloween Havoc 98. You gotta check this one out. Number 1, Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Eddie Guerrero. This is my number 1 match, guys. Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, Cruiserweight title, Halloween Havoc 1997. Went down as the match of the year that year. And by God, if you haven't seen it, if you got the WWE Network, go watch it right now. It was everything that people say it was and more. Deserved thoroughly to be the match of the year. It was for the Cruiserweight title, which Eddie held going into it. And these guys just literally flew around the ring. It was unbelievable. Action-packed, never a dull moment. One of the greatest matches I have seen. It was an absolute classic, and it's going to go down as my favourite on this list. Well, thanks guys for watching. I know everyone out there will not agree with this list. That's fine. It's my personal list. As I say, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, and have a good one.